Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Balls Out podcast and another edition of the Red Devils Roundup. My name's Nathan. I'm joined with Mark. We are expecting a few more, but we shall see how they get on. But for now, good evening, Mark. How are you?
I'm good as can be. Coming down with a lovely Christmas cold, but ready to get into this fiasco, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, let's just go straight into it. I mean, you've watched the highlights. I managed to watch the game. We were talking in the group chat, just like really, none of us could really put into words what we were witnessing. It was, I just said shambles, just poor. Really, we had a good sort of first, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we conceded a very well taken goal. You know, the foul that we conceded was probably fair. The trailing leg on Malassi. I didn't really need to make the foul there, but again, he did it. It was a well taken free kick and straight into an area. Xerxes wasn't good enough in that position, and it was a really well worked goal. And then just from there, after half time, you expected a bit of motivation, but yeah, just for me, just was not good enough. I don't know what you think, but
I think you've hit the nail on the head. Really, there. You say about their first goal, like watching it back, and I watched it in slow mo when Xerxes goes down. He literally goes down to head the ball, looking at the floor, and he's about a yard behind the guy. He was never winning the ball, so he at least have his arm on his back or something. But
yeah,
again, like Xerxes, he's got a lot of work to do, and if he can't do his main job defensively, I don't think he's going to be cracked up to doing that job either at the moment. Then you had the penalty, Stonewall penalty.
Yeah, no argument. Again, Mazraoui shouldn't be making that challenge. That's a really
and he knew it. He knew it, and it's almost like everyone's down tools, and he was angry, and he threw in a tackle. I think anyone who's played football's done it in their life, and he just knew as soon as he made contact. Like that's probably the worst thing I've seen him do since we signed him.
Mm.
And it wasn't a bad tackle. It was just a lazy tackle, dangle out a leg, and like what Clive was looking for. That's all he was looking for. So, and then the third one, again, Martinez. He's having a shocker of a season.
Considering his fitness this year, we've been so desperate for him to have a fit year, and he's actually been pretty good in that department. But now it's just like, what has happened to him?
I hope it's a mental block. So obviously he done his knee. Yeah. And a lot of players will come back to you, and the worst thing you can go into is a tackle you can't win, right? Because obviously you're going to take the brunt of the force. And this sort of thing was, if we had John Terry, he throws his head at the guy's feet. Do you know what I mean? It was one of those. He just needed to throw something, and he probably blocks it. It might have hit and gone in, but he needed to make that. And he didn't. He stood back and he made that sort of like, in goalkeeping, we called it a K block. He would put his arms behind his back and just sort of trying to block it. And it's like, these are professional footballers. They're not Saturday League. They can place the ball past you if you're just going to stand still.
Yeah.
So, but I think, is he worried about that impact on his knee if he goes for it? If he's slightly off balance, because he come back before, didn't he? Injured, or said he was fit to play under Ten Hag, and then we lost him for a little bit longer. And what did we get out of him? 1.5 games, was it? Or 2 games, something like that?
Yeah, something like that before he went off again.
So, it is what it is. Like you say, you watched the game. I was watching the game for, like you said, I probably saw the first 15 before I just gave up trying to watch it on the stream. But I did keep an eye on the stats, like live scores, stats coming through, and I had to screenshot them because that's all we're going to hear about. We're creating chances, we're not conceding chances, and it's all lies. It's just like, as a fan, it's a shame. We've obviously had people at the game today.
Yeah, quite a few of our group chat regulars have been at the game today, yeah.
And if they can't come back after this in the comments and literally back this up, but from what I've seen, stats-wise, it's 20-something shots, single-digit on target, and when I watched Sky Sports put the highlights up, there was 3 highlights. One of them was their own player almost heading it in the net. Then there was Bruno, which was absolutely the tamest shot ever. He's just tried to guide it instead of smashing it into the roof of the net. And Hoyland's turn and hit was great, but we don't create those chances. That was it. So for 20 shots, 3 clear cut, and one of them's off a Ahmad corner, and the defender almost heads it in his own net.
Yeah, like you say, 23 shots on goal, 7 on target, 10 off target, and like you say, 3 clear cut chances. To their 10 shots on goal, 5 on target, and they scored 3. Obviously,
Yep.
bear in mind one of them's a penalty.
So 50% accuracy rate of hitting a shot, and then over 50% of them going in the net because they found the corner. Well, didn't even find the corners. They weren't. One's a pen, and it weren't a great pen, but and the header was horrendous. I thought it's just a flick on from outside the 6-yard box diagonally into the far top corner.
Yeah, and in fairness, Onana didn't really, even though he's conceded through, he didn't have anything to do. He didn't make any like really big saves to keep us in it, or had anything real to do. The only thing that wound me up when I was watching it was just the amount of passing back to the keeper, and the keeper just pushing it around the back three, and then back to the keeper. It was a really sluggish and slow trying to build up from the back. And at some point, you're just thinking, just fucking hoof it, get it up into the danger areas. Like, just if you need to go route one, go route one. You know, I would rather us try something like that than just sitting along the back three. 60% possession means nothing, because I think most of that was just passing around the back with the keeper holding it and then passing it again. It's so difficult to really pull any positives out. The only one I would say, or there's probably a couple, Ahmad still had a really good game. I think he played well in spells, and going forward, he still seemed the only one with any real drive and direct like attack on the goals. Bruno had some really frustrating chances. It's really difficult with the amount of shots on goal we had from that sort of edge of the area, like in the D, and they all just skying over the bar. And it's like, can none of you just actually hit the target?
Yeah, head down laces, because, hit it along the ground or shank it wide, but try and just smash it. They're not. They want to curl it in the top corner.
7 saves from Kepa today, 2 for Onana. It's embarrassing, really.
So hang on. 5 shots on target, 3 goals, 2 saves.
2 saves. Yeah.
So he literally didn't make any other saves. And a save can be from a cross with some of these people. It depends how they do their stats. But a ball into the box and coming and catching it so the striker can't get it. Some stat people put that down as a save. It shouldn't be, unless someone's got contact. But, like a bobbling ball in the box, it's a save. Keeper's dived on it. They're rubbish stats, but yeah.
Looking at the stats, there's really nothing you can take from it and think, oh, that's positive.
No, you can say that. Well, what was it? I've listened to Amrin, and he said about you can see us getting the ball. He said it's probably about the last 3 or 4 games. We get the ball, we're in the shape, and we're looking, and then it's not on, and we go back. And he's like, I like that because we keep the ball. I don't want to give away the ball. Second half, Ugarte comes off. All we did was give away the ball. I thought Ugarte, from like everyone was raving about him, and what I saw from the first half highlights to the second half highlights, I'm guessing he dropped Bruno back in with Kobe into central midfield again.
Yeah, it seemed like that. There was the problem is that Bruno just seemed to be all over the pitch, so it didn't really matter where Amarin put him.
But you can't do that.
You can't.
Wherever Amarin's put him is his position. If he can't play it as a captain, right? Imagine he's not captain. Imagine he is Joe Bloggs playing in that role. You're off the pitch, but as a captain, you're meant to be telling everyone else to play their positions, and you can't do it yourself. Roy Keane is so on the ball. It's like he's a phenomenal player, but he is not a captain. He's hazardous to the team.
Yeah, there was a lot of he had 3 shots on goal, and none of them really troubled the keeper at all. It was, and like I said, there was just so many shots on that sort of edge of the area in dangerous positions when the ball sort of came into sort of like Bruno, or it might have been Garnacho, or whoever it was. Like there was a pocket of space for him to shoot at, and they all just went skying over the bar. It was so.
But we've seen that from the end of last season into the beginning of this season. This isn't, and Ten Hag was getting the blame for it. We're under a different manager now. They're still taking pot shots.
Yeah.
And Amrin's, I've watched a lot now of Sporting to catch up with what he's been doing over the last couple of years. And it's Man City-esque, byline, cutbacks, or go in a free, If we're going, we go hard, we go fast, which I can see he likes with Højlund, Ahmad, and obviously his idea is to have Garnacho or Rashford to do that. But at the moment, he's having to rotate players constantly for fitness, and that's the only thing I can think it is. Unless he's got some masterstroke that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think with, like you said about Rashford, he was at the game. You said he was there. He didn't arrive on the coach, obviously, because he wasn't part of the match day squad, but he was there. He was like signing autographs, and he was there. So what I managed to get from the game was that if they put Rashford in there, it wouldn't have made any blind bit of difference.
Oh no,
there was no way. And we have to give credit because Bournemouth were very good. It wasn't a case of we were awful and Bournemouth were bad. We were awful and Bournemouth were very good.
Bournemouth are very good, but they're very good in the way probably how all Southampton's fans feel or Leicester's fans want to play. If we can't match them for talent, we have to outdo them in effort, speed, and desire. And I think Amrin's come out to one of the people and said that. Like, they wanted it, we've heard it so many times, and Ericsson was the worst one who said it live on TV. They wanted it more. They wanted to get forward. They wanted to get back.
I mean, they currently sit in 5th, and we're only 6 points behind them. I mean, obviously, there is a bit of traffic. So United are going to be finishing in the bottom half of the table for the first time before Christmas. Sorry, let me start again. We are going to finish in the bottom half of the table at Christmas for the first time since 1989. And there was actually, I was listening on the radio because I managed to watch it at work and then I got called out. So then I listened to it on the radio. And then they were talking about, after the game, they were talking to Ruben and the guy said to Ruben, oh, obviously, so this is blah, blah, blah. This is the first time that United will finish bottom half of the table, blah, blah. And the guy said, oh, but that's not on you. But how from your 6 games? And he said, no, hang on. I'm the Manchester United manager. It is my responsibility.
Yeah, that's going to tire quickly.
Yeah. So I think it comes from a point of like, he's saying what the fans want to hear right now.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's what we all want to hear. We just want that to continue because we had that with every manager all the way up to
until they got to the point, there's no point in them saying it anymore because they're clearly a liar. And that's the way they feel. Like, I'm getting caught out here. It's like, I can't keep saying the same thing. And people were calling Ten Hag out. Obviously, Ruud didn't get called out for it. Ollie got called out for it. It's the Manchester United. They get a briefing before they go into anything. Don't say this. Don't say this. This is trending. Words to stay away from and not do. When you heard that, was that the post-match press conference or was that a post-match interview?
That was the post-match interview just after coming off the pitch.
Okay. Yeah. In the press conference, someone asked him a question regarding set pieces, and apparently the assistant manager's taken over doing them.
Right.
And straight away they were like, so for that goal, is it now on him to do it? And he went, no, it's on me. It's all on me. It's not his fault. And I'm like, coach is coach. They have a job. If you're going to name someone to do a job and it isn't working, you've already put them in the firing line.
Yeah.
Maybe get them to come out and do the interview with you. Maybe get them to come speak. They're allowed to. Mike Phelan used to do it all the time for Fergie, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's getting tedious now. I know I agree with him. I know he's right in what he's saying. But do we really want to hear it week in, week out? I want to hear players being held accountable now.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. That's what I was going to actually ask you, is that we're at a point now, or we have been, how many managers are going to get sacked when it comes down to players not doing their roles, not doing their jobs? We talked last week on Ruben sort of sticking with his principles, and we didn't clash, but we disagreed to the sense that you've got to adapt. Like, we had this problem with Ten Hag. He came over, tried his way. It didn't work, so he changed it immediately. And with Ruben, he's sticking with it at the moment until we get the players that were going to fit his role. Yeah. This is going to be a case of, if he wants to stick with it, I'm all for it. I'm all for, look, you've been employed to do it like this, so do it like this. But if you need players to do it, United are going to have to give him the money and the know-how to do it.
What money?
Exactly. And I think...
What money? Was he just put in another 100 and something million that he can't put towards the squad? It's going to go into improving... Oh, that was one of the other things. We've now got a leak in the newly refurbished things, and it's dripping on the reporters. It's like, great, what a place to have holiday.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this, it was all over Twitter during Ruben's press conference. But they were asking him questions, and then the roof started leaking, the ceiling started leaking in the media room.
But if you know where the media room is and where the leak down the stairs was, they run down the same back of part of the stadium. So I thought they've done something, got on there, I don't know, leaf blower in the gutters or something. But it's band-aids on stab wounds at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, so if we're looking at the idea of this, I looked at I did the survey when it came out for the stadium and what we wanted doing with it, and I was very much for a brand new ground. Like, I think you have to in this day and age.
Agreed.
As much as heritage, and we've seen it with Tottenham Hotspur. They moved out of White Hart Lane. White Hart Lane was a great ground, but it was old. I went there a few times because I live in this part of the world, so I've been there. I went to White Hart Lane quite a lot, every now and then, because just to watch football, really. But you could tell it was tired. And so they moved to their £1 billion stadium, not billion, but 750 million, where it was. And it's now one of the best stadiums in the world. Without a doubt, the best ground in England.
But what's the advantage we've got? We've got land. We don't even need to knock down Old Trafford.
No.
We will, but we don't need to. And I'm all for this. It was put out there, I think it was like the third option. Knock it down, don't knock it down, downsize it. Let the women's 18s, 23s play there. Because although we got Carrington, but they can just do better. We don't want to be going to the Leaf Sports Village for the women to play a match. We could do that.
No, that was one of the things, because I think I did a show. I don't know if you were on it. You might have been, or you were in the comments either way. We did a show on the future of Old Trafford and what should happen when the surveys went out. And I was very much on that same level as what you're saying. If you want to take the top tiers down, make it a 40, 50,000 or even 30,000 seated ground and give it to the women and say, right, this is us investing in your football. You've now got your own ground.
Yeah.
And then you can keep the museum, you can keep everything that goes with it, you can keep the Munich Tunnel, everything that goes with Old Trafford that it is now, that what makes Old Trafford what it is. What do we really like? The Munich clock, the Trinity statue, the Munich Tunnel. I suppose they would get a new megastore, wouldn't they?
So I think you could easily take the statue, and the clock off of the stadium. That would still raise some eyebrows. But imagine you had the statue in between both grounds. You've got, I don't know, some kind of pillar with the clock on, so everyone could come around it, lay the wreaths and stuff. I just think there are things you can do for add a little bit of, when something's got to go and you don't like it, it's almost like sweetening the deal.
Yeah.
And that could work. But the main problem being the people they asked. They didn't ask every Manchester United fan.
Well, no, that was a good point, actually, because you needed a supporter ID to get into the survey. But the boffins at whoever made this survey didn't realise that if you just put the number 1 in the thing, you could get straight into it, which is how I managed to get into it.
Exactly. So it's flawed. So, again, they've probably already made their minds up. A decision normally comes out when there is paths already being trodden, shall we say. And then they say, well, this is going to be A, B or C. So if we only give them those options, or we have one as a backup, which we don't talk about. And then it's like a live chat. Let's talk about other channels. Every time we go live, it's only Man United fans in here. Of course it's not. Every time, if people found out about that one, people are going to be going in. They're going, knock it down, knock it down, knock it down. From Chelsea, City. It should have been done differently. I don't know why. Musk or someone should have run it.
Yeah. I mean, so we've spoke about the game. Not really much we can take from it. It was quite disappointing. Let's talk about Rashford. Like we spoke about him a little bit earlier. He wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference in the team today. It would have just been, like you said, papering over the cracks in that sense. It would have just been a waste of time. So he spoke to very well regarded journalist Henry Winter.
Yeah.
basically Henry. Now, I want to make a point very clear before actually I go into it. So there was a lot made of this interview coming after the game that he was dropped for. Henry went on TalkSport the day that the interview went out and said no, it wasn't a case of he wanted an interview after he was dropped. So it was originally scheduled for the Tuesday before the Man City game, but the whole United squad had to do charity foundation work and give Christmas presents out to kids at hospitals in the Manchester area. So they had to rebook it for the Tuesday after. It just so happened to coincide with the fact he was dropped.
And the fact he'd done the hospital visit on his own that day once he was out of the thing.
Yeah.
And again, that was the most positive PR he's had on his Instagram and every page that he's got in about a year and a half.
Yeah, and annoyingly that has not been, I mean, I know why it hasn't been picked up by any news outlet. Every news outlet or every radio station or every sporting thing have just gone on the fact, right, he's been dropped against City. He's now done an interview. He obviously wants out and he's causing chaos. No, it was scheduling and the fact that it was already pre-booked with between him and the club, everything. So,
well, I heard different. I heard the club didn't sanction it.
I was under the impression that because they rescheduled it with Rashford for the week after, but if the club haven't sanctioned it, there's obviously a rift from what he said. It can be taken in two different ways. Ruben said, well, let me tell you what you said first. So Henry asked him, what is next for Marcus Rashford, basically? And he says, I'm looking for new challenges. And you twist it a little bit, and it basically sounded like he said he wants to leave.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that straight away before we move on to what was said next?
So,
surely it's a win-win for both sides. If he wants to leave.
Okay, so we've just said it was meant to have been the Tuesday before, right? What was the Tuesday before? When would he have done the interview when we would have been flying to a Europa game on the Wednesday? So they've sanctioned an interview to go out or be done, knowing once it's done, he can release it within minutes of it going out in the way where we are now. But he will communicate with the club and say, I've got this. What do you want to do about it? He's done this interview. He's said X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's what Naomi's saying there. Henry Winter let the club know before the release.
Yeah.
So the club were aware and they haven't put an injunction out or anything like that.
Yeah. Now,
thank you, Naomi.
I do also believe Henry Winter is one of the people putting out the leaks.
Potentially.
So there's a lot of... We are not in the club. We can guess. But do you know what? As fans, they're pretty close to the mark probably for a lot of us because we've seen it happen year after year. It doesn't have to be Rashford. Rashford's just the new name on the chopping block. You know, I am very sceptical about that interview being done at all, or even being allowed to be put out, because it would have messed up our prep for the Europa League. It would have messed, okay, it doesn't go out. It messes up the prep for Man City. No matter what, when you're playing 2 games a week, it's going to affect the warm-up. And Marcus Rashford has not played in 3 games since that came out. So when I say I haven't heard what it was, someone might have said, yeah, you can do it. It doesn't sound like the manager's signed off on it.
No, probably not.
And the question, he tried to spin it, didn't he, in the press conference?
Yeah, so
which I thought was a really good attempt.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, but you could read between the lines, basically. So he was basically asked in an interview before, I think it was the Tottenham press conference.
Yeah,
he was asked, "Have you spoken to Marcus? What are your views on him saying he needs a new challenge?" And he basically said, "We're all part of a new challenge, and he hopes that new challenge is with Marcus at this club, and he just wants to help him."
Yeah, trying to say that he was the new challenge, his way is the new challenge, and everything's all right. But they gave him a snippet of the information. It was the next line after that that made, like, if you've read the whole interview, you said you got the quotes there.
Yeah.
The next quote doesn't tally up with Ruben Amorim, so he seemed he was blind to it, or just wasn't given the full details, because then it was sort of made to look a bit silly as people in social media, shall I say, digest both sides of the offence and going, well, this doesn't tally up.
Yeah, so here's what... There's a quote here. It's disheartening to be left out of the derby, but it happened and we won the game, so let's move on. It's disappointing, but I'm also someone, as I've got older, I can deal with setbacks. What am I going to do about it? Sit there and cry about it, or do my best do my best the next time I'm available? Fair?
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Would you expect a kid in a school pretty much to say exactly those same words?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
And then
standard response.
the next question was, he awoke this morning to headlines detailing United's desire to sign him. I asked Rashford if he's staying or going. And the direct quote from Rashford was, "For me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps."
That's that bit. Amarin saying the new challenge is with him. Next steps is not. That is not a comment. It can be swung that way if you really wanted to try and like twist the words. But if for someone who's media trained, that is not the right wording to be done.
No.
And the media training they go through is top notch. So that was deliberate.
Yeah, and it goes on to say, when I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Manchester United. That's not me as a person. If I know that a situation is already bad, I'm not going to make it worse. I've seen how other players have left in the past. I don't want to be that person. When I leave, I'll make a statement and it'll be from me. And from the heart, as he'll always be a Red, yes, 100%.
He's never made a statement by himself yet. So if I might be wrong, it might have changed, but I'm pretty sure he's signed to Jay-Z's production company. Like that's who does his PR. It's all of them.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Hence the reason there was the. I don't really want to mention his name. A certain high-profile streamer who was called out by Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
While he should have been in training.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, well, mate, his training starts at 10. So either he's not at training, that's even worse because it was after the Belfast shenanigans.
Yeah.
Or someone else has put that out for him. What's the tribunal interview? Mm-hmm. That was horrendous. That was unsanctioned. So the only things he's done from him, supposedly, are against the club.
Yeah.
No different to Cristiano Ronaldo.
I was just going to say, I think it is slightly different because
what in the power of the words and who he is?
The power of the words, the power of who he is, but also it was unsanctioned, again, like Rashford's was, but he basically came out and just destroyed everything about what the club were trying to do at the time. Obviously, this was before the takeover, and he basically said, we all remember what Ronaldo had to say.
Well, a lot of the things are being fixed right now that he raised.
Yeah. They
are. So he spoke the truth, but like a petulant person that he is, that's why he's a winner. I can take that from Ronaldo. I can take that from Messi, Ronaldinho, R9, Zidane. They are petulant because they are the best. And you earn the right to be petulant because you can back it up 9 times out of 10. Now, Ronaldo walked off down the tunnel. Rashford walks around a pitch. At least Ronaldo ran around on the pitch, got off, copped a strop, walked off, or throwing his arms around. Yeah. But he gave effort on the pitch. Ahmad is giving effort on the pitch. We had this conversation last time. Garnacho, I think that's what you're going to see from him now. He might become a bit of a headless chicken. Bruno runs around, headless chicken. But it's effort. That's what a manager does. Now I need to contain that into a little ball. You run around here, let everyone else run where they need to go.
Yeah. So. It's for me personally, I think this is obviously, it's been a long time coming. He's been with the club for 20 years. He's been a great ambassador for the past 10 or 8 in Van Gaal's era when he came in and started.
He got his first 2 or 3 starts, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was on fire. And we can see what he can do, or we've seen what he can do on a all firing team. But these things happen. It's not a case. It's not a McTominay situation where McTominay was just sold before he got the opportunity. He's come out and said he's ready for a next challenge. And I personally don't have any issues with it. I wouldn't mind if he stayed, but I wouldn't mind if he was sold. For 2 reasons, I wouldn't mind if he was sold. One is because it will be 100% profit on PSR because he's come through the academy, and also it's 300 to 350 to 375 reported.
Well, it's less because we're about to lose that bloody Adidas part, aren't we? Unfortunately, so it's going to drop no matter what with the 25%.
Yeah, so it's a big wage bill off. It's 100% profit in the PSR with the new sort of structure and how Jim Ratcliffe wants to do things and his hierarchies. It's a case of you're getting rid of a wage bill. You're also getting rid of you're getting 100% profit. And with what they want to do, you can see there's going to be a bit of a mass exodus anyway. You can see some of the bigger name players.
Yeah,
People like
Casemiro's got to be going because
Casemiro will
he's
probably
on more
go.
than Rashford.
Yeah,
There's three players above Rashford. I can only think of Casemiro if it is. And I love Casemiro. I'd love him to stay, but when your legs are gone, your legs are gone.
yeah, he's probably got one big move to Saudi or something, or South America or the MLS probably
Yeah.
in him. He'll get a big money move, well, not a big money move, but he'll go at the end of the season. Ericsson likely to go as well.
Lindelof, maybe.
Lindelof, Evans probably as well, or they'll put Evans on a pay-to-play contract. Whether he'll take something like that, I don't think he will. I think he's still got it in him to do it. Maybe, I mean, I say teams below us, but there's not many teams below us at the minute.
Yeah.
So, but who is there? Anyone from that starting 11 today that you would say is 100%? You know, they have to stay, or is it a case of I think we listen to offers for everyone? So you've got Onana, Mazraoui, Maguire. That's probably another one that may leave. Martinez, Dallo, Ugarte, Mainu, Malacia, Diallo, Xerxes, and Fernandez. That was the starting 11.
It's probably easier to tell you who I would keep because
go for it.
All right, so Mazraoui, like I say, gave away the penalty, but he's bringing something special to the team. I can see that. Same as Ahmad. Ugarte, I was unsure of, but in the last few games, he's impressing me. But he's not. I still think he's rubbish on the ball. I think he is giving it away a little bit too much. But we don't know if the players are not in the right position, so he's playing blind passes, things like that. Who was the back three? Did you say Maguire started?
Maguire and Martinez, yeah.
Maguire hasn't put a foot wrong since he's come in.
Not since. So last season when we were about to sell him to West Ham, and that fell through. Since then, I don't think he's really done anything wrong.
He's kept his mouth shut. When he's taken his chances when he's come in. He's playing passes left and right foot from centre. De Ligt, I thought, well, De Ligt, so therefore no Maguire. You can't have both. Well, according to Amarin, you can.
Yeah.
Martinez is on a tightrope with me.
Yeah, I mean, how long has he been with the club now? 4, 5 years, whatever it is now, maybe less.
No. So he came with Ten Hag, didn't he? So he's done 3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Roughly now. And then you had Malacia. The guy's coming back from a bad injury. Is he a top left back? He's our only left back, so of course he stays.
Yeah.
Mainu, I love him. I'd rather see him in a 10 where he has to do less running backwards. I'm just trying to think. Xerxes, I'll put the same taxi as Rashford.
I'm probably leaning towards a loan for Xerxes.
Yeah, to an English club. Maybe go down a division. Learn
probably
about
the same as what Ahmad did. What Ahmad did, where he went to Sunderland and absolutely thrived.
Yeah, but Ahmad was absolutely terrible at Rangers.
Well, yeah, but that's the Scottish League for you.
Well, which is less than the Championship. So,
but then he was fired on all cylinders for Sunderland and was absolutely brilliant and won their Player of the Season. And
he learned something from the Rangers and then went there and done it.
Yeah, you could probably do the same with Xerxes.
I am in the camp of what is the point in having Bruno if he's not going to do as he's told.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone goes, but you can't sell the cap. No, you can sell any player because once he's not there, if he gets a ACL and he's out for 9 months, you're going to need another captain. So that's not an excuse. And he's never injured. So trust me, when he gets injured, it's going to be a bad one.
Yeah.
Dallo, I'll ship him out. He's been horrendous. He seems not to thrive under pressure. So how good was he last season? Why Wan-Bissaka was out?
Better. Not brilliant.
Not brilliant, but better. But we would still rather have Wan-Bissaka in to defend rather than Dallo to go forward.
Yeah.
And I almost see that now. I almost see that from the manager as well. This inverted wingers. He went 2 defensive wingers today. I thought that was the wrong shout. I like it. 1 attack, 1 defend. So you can slide into a 4-4-2. But, mate, it's... The shirt is heavy. I'm not saying any of these players aren't good, but they've gone through some horrible times. And the only people on the pitch who can make them play better is them. I can give you the best coaching you could ever have. Yeah, I could. You could go. We'll say Hoyland. He's obviously our first choice striker. Yeah, when it comes to the big games, he's up top. We don't create for him. I reckon in training, he's smashing the ball in left, right, and centre because the drill will be passing the ball, take a touch, turn, hit it, or feed it off. It will work. When it comes to a game, they all want the glory. They all want the stats. And that's not an Amarin team. That's not what he's about. The only stats he cares about is running. So, and then you go down to the subs bench, and to be honest, if they're on the bench to a degree,
on the bench, I'll tell you, you've got Buendia.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't great midweek, but again, he only plays maybe 2, 3, 4 games a season.
Exactly. He should be playing every cup match.
Yeah, easily. And probably I would even argue with having to, like, you do what Chelsea have done and have 2 separate teams for Europa. I mean, I know they've got further to travel, but you can quite easily do that in the Europa League, in the Europa Conference League. And they've done very well with that system. So Buendia, you've got Johnny Evans. We've already spoke about him. Good chance he'll probably go at the end of the season. If he's still got a year on his contract, it's fine. We can keep him. It's not a case of we're going to get any money for him. But
he doesn't do anything wrong.
No, he's solid. He does what he does.
Say steady Eddie like Souness, but he does what he's asked. He can step forward, left, right. He wins the ball. He just doesn't have pace. You know? And he's not the only one in our team with that.
Lenny Euro, not really seen enough of him to really make a judgment. He came on, didn't really affect things anymore.
I would like to see him in the 21s.
Yeah?
I would like to see him getting 90 minutes under the 21s. And I felt like he should have chucked Garnacho back there as well. For that, if you're talking about it's not discipline or whatever you want to say, but people should still step down. We have no reserves now. You listen to legends; they've all played for those in the reserve team.
Yeah. If you get chucked down into play with the under 23s, under 21s, whatever, do what you're told. If you need to grind out. I think the only reason they don't do that so much anymore is because of the amount of games they've got to play.
Yeah, and it's the same reason why the 21s don't come up. If you play for the 18s or 21, you now can't play for the first team for 7 days from the start of that match. So, I'm not saying the kickoff time, but literally from the 12 a.m. bang, you can't go. And a lot of people don't realise that. And why do we want to ruin these kids' chances of achieving something? Because then you come in better. You come in. That's the way it should be. So yeah.
So you've also got Christian Eriksen and Casemiro. We spoke about them. There's a good chance that again they're probably going to go at the end of the season. If they just, I'm not told, 3 players on the bench so far that likely.
Yeah.
Garnacho, we'll talk about him today. Came on again, didn't do anything in particular. Bad decision making in the final third, as is always has been the problem with him this season. We're not going if we're going to sell him. I know there was reports this week that Atletico Madrid are interested and potentially Barcelona.
We're not selling him.
I don't think they're going to sell him. Definitely won't be in January. If it's going to be anything, it's going to be a loan to buy.
You can't sell both. You can't sell Rashford and Garnacho.
No.
When Garnacho was meant to be the next Rashford, that was the hype. And it's our fan base and our club. Stop with the bloody hype. If they're not doing it on the pitch, do not hype them up. When Garnacho, he obviously just won the Puskas Award.
Yeah.
Phenomenal goal. Do that. How many times do you think he's going to try that afterwards? I can think about 3 or 4 times he tried it afterwards and it went nowhere.
Yeah.
Asked Wayne Rooney about the strike when he got it, and he was like, "Yeah, I shinned it." He knew he shinned it. He knew it wasn't going where he wanted to put it. When you do an overhead kick, you're aiming down. If it comes off your shin, you've hit it early and it's gone straight.
Yeah.
So.
And the last 2 on there, Rasmus Højlund.
Collier's
on there as well. I didn't put him in because, again, youngster. I'd like to see young kids getting a chance in the first team. He hasn't made many appearances in the first team this season. Couple off the bench, I think, maybe 3 or 4 off the bench.
So it's not really got anything to do with how he's doing for the club, but I know people that know his family. He's from the same town as me.
Right.
Hence the reason we brought him from, because I lived outside of Brighton in Worthing, and that's actually where he's born. And they know the family, and they're a footballing family, but not to a high level. But I mean, these are people that played county level or higher, and it's all about, again, work ethic, putting the tackles in. And I've seen him play, and that's what he's about.
Yeah.
He's an engine. And I can't think what game it was. It was a European match where he played left back. And everything he done at left back under Ten Hag, Dalot wasn't doing.
Yeah.
So that's a difference in instruction, which could be because of he's younger, thinking he can't take all the instructions on, just defend. But he was great. So I don't know. You can change as many players as you want in a team.
Yeah.
But if they're not the right fit, people go about, we need a big name to replace Rashford. Why?
No, we've built a club on recruiting talent from our own academy to the point where they're good enough. I mean, I'm not going to start listing players because how many times have we seen a fucking documentary about the class of '92 and all that shit? I'm not going to start listing all the players because everyone fucking knows who they are.
It doesn't matter. Ferguson bought Bebe.
Well, yeah.
Ronaldo. How'd that work out? People buy players, they can look great in one league, and then they're crap when they come to the Premier League because it's about fitness, it's about energy, and it's about desire. And that's all I will ever preach when I coach. You can be the best player, and I can't think who's saying it is, but what's the one about hard work outdoes talent when talent doesn't work hard, or words to that effect.
Something like that. Yeah,
literally, you could put that on a Christmas jumper on the front and Marcus Rashford's face on the back, and who could say that's not the case? But he's not the only one.
No,
but they made him a star boy. So you take the money, you take the criticism. You can't deal with the criticism. Get out the club because you took the money, you took the deal. You made a deal with the devil to take 350,000. That was a stupid. What was it? 150,000 jump or something like that. Might have been more from his salary. Like whoever done that, what do you think was going to happen to the kid?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? This was all done under I think it was under the previous regime when Ed Woodward was signing.
Yeah, it was
stuff like that. So there's no surprise that
it was one of the last contracts he did.
And it was a case of they were probably thinking, you sign this and we'll get money for you eventually.
Well, that's what it is. Your value is your financial value for sale is based on your wages plus ability. So when we signed Anthony, which was meant to have been 25 million, I think was the original bid, something like that with Arsenal, and we went over the top. We signed and we chased. He was on 20,000 a week.
Yeah. And
if I would like to say, chat, we can play a little game here, but I think pretty sure everyone knows he's now on 200,000 a week times 10. Hands up who would like times 10 their wages just for changing job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that his fault?
No, he's just going to take the highest bid.
He's younger than Rashford. So he's now gone with all that money, and that's got him in trouble. When you get money, every professional footballer who does these documentaries, I haven't got money, I've gone broke, someone was taking money off me, someone was always asking money of me. Paul Pogba's brother right now. Was he just going to jail for 10 million of, I can't even think what it was for. I know it's a value of 10 million. Was it extortion to Pogba?
Something like that.
To his own brother? So, yeah, it is. And Rashford comes from a horrible place in Manchester at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so he's not going to know all nice people.
Yeah, the player ratings read for pretty grim reading. Onana got a 6, don't really know how, made 2 saves. Mazraoui 4, harsh, I think. Maguire 6, okay. Martinez 6, okay. Dalot 5. Yeah, these are pretty shocking, to be honest.
I'll keep going because I can already hear the media bias. So
yeah, Dalot 5, Mainu got a 6, Ugarte got 5, Malacia got 6, Ahmad got 6, Fernandez got 5, and Xerxes got a 4.
So what did Maguire get? A 5.
Maguire got a 6,
and Martinez got a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martinez is to blame for the third goal for not closing that shot down and just standing still. Maguire didn't put a foot wrong. From what I've seen, he didn't put a foot wrong.
No, but Mazraoui, the only thing Mazraoui did wrong was give away a penalty.
Yeah, but how much did he do going forward? How many passes? How many attacks does he set up? They're just biased. No, it's ridiculous. But Ugarte
got 5,
and he was outstanding, and we were worse without him on the pitch.
Yeah.
So that says you've taken off currently in this bad team your best player, potentially.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, like you say, there's a bit of media bias. I think we won't call out Sky Sports. I mean, we won't name who it was, but
but it's not. There's media. It's not just media bias. Everything is media in this day and age. So there'll be YouTube channels or Twitter channels or Instagram things going, what do you think people got?
Yeah.
Right. Someone can have a bad time up front. If we look at Xerxes, if we're taking shots from outside the box, his job is to link the play, get in the box, score a goal. He's not going to have a good rating if they don't give him the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they give him the ball and he messes it up, also not going to have a good rating. But if you've watched the game, you see which one of the two it is. So, Bruno, what was Bruno's? 6?
No, Bruno got 5.
I would have given him a 4.
Interesting.
Gave the ball away lots. He had the 3 best chances, bar Rasmus, which was a great strike. So he missed his chances. So he would have had the best expected XG on his shots. He was shooting from outside the box. He wasn't playing the passes forward. And as you said, headless chicken wasn't always there.
Yeah.
But he's captain. Bonus point. It's like FPL.
Yeah, there you go. So pretty grim today. We're not going to talk about the Tottenham game because, again, that wasn't great.
But why not? Look at the Tottenham result today.
Well, there you go.
They went all out against us. I was happy to get knocked out of that cup. Because I'm fed up of people going, oh, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup. We get to the final. We win it. Hey, we won a trophy. Sack the manager. Yeah, but you only won a Carabao Cup. That's not Ten Hag. That is any team. Any team, that's what they go back to. So why do we care if we get knocked out? It was 4-3. It was a blatant foul on the keeper. I'm not having that all day long. It's interference with his catching hand. Did he make a mistake? Yes, but he's put hands on to stop the keeper from moving.
Yeah.
So that, pens would have been fair. They worked hard. They wanted it. We put out a second string side to a degree. And we've done the same again today. Neither of them were our strongest teams.
No.
So is that something we need to look at?
I'm assuming this is just a case of Ruben Amorim's just trying to find out who his best team is. And he's having to, behind the scenes, he's having to prepare for the fact that Rashford's not going to be available, which is a shame because you would imagine from Manchester United's point of view, you want to put Rashford. If you are going to sell him, you want to put him
scoring goals.
Yeah, you want
Salah. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, Mo Salah. If he's not going to get a contract extension, you know there's going to be big money offers from 7 different parts of the world.
But he's just broken another record today.
Yeah,
he's absolutely flying. He's ripped to pieces. So you can't say like, oh, but he's 32, 33. His body's no different to probably most of the 20-year-olds in the youth team. And that's what we're talking about. It's about going back again. Desire. Whether he wants a contract or not, he wants to leave or not, he's playing for Liverpool. And he's given his all. So, and that's all I ask from any player that I will support. I don't support players. I support Manchester United. We support the Busby Babes who no one knew of to rebuild this club. So I don't care if we put nobody's out if they want to show me that they want to win.
No, I think
that's my stance. Maybe that's my age. A lot of our fan base now is starting to never seen us win.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where it's just another rebuild, isn't it? That's all it is.
But you can't do a rebuild, changing manager. Amorim's got a 2.5-year contract.
Yeah.
Ferguson's rebuild, the decision to get rid of McGrath, and he wins player of the season for the next 2 seasons at Aston Villa because of a drinking thing. They backed him. And that was a massive call. They backed him when he should have sacked him. Praised Mark Robbins, So, and that's what it came down to. And we've done that with Ten Hag. He won the FA Cup. That was a Mark Robbins moment. You make a choice, and then you've backed him in the transfer market. So Amorim now has no money. Off you drop. But what's changed? The football's a little bit better. The stats? Because I still see us losing.
Yeah, from what we're seeing is that we're still losing games. Obviously, we compare it to City last week, and the City game wasn't impressive, but we won the game, and I think that's all we really asked for. Is that the only stat at the end of the game that matters is the scoreline, and if we'd come back and won 4-3 today, but were terrible, it wouldn't have bothered me in the fucking slightest.
Goes in off your backside. No one cares if you're
nobody gives a shit. So it's just a case of he's going to need a lot of time. We've already gone through the players that we think may or may not stay.
But they might stay. They might leave. But it's about that willingness to learn. And also, do they have the mental capacity to learn? That's what he said about Mason Mount.
And the money that needs to be made available, if there is anything. If we're going to try and make money off player sales to give Ruben a chance to build his own, because obviously if he wants to stick with his formation and his way of thinking, he's going to need the players that he wants to do it. And it just depends if they're going to give him the money to do that. It may take. It's not going to be in January because there's going to be a lot of United fans that are watching these games thinking, right, we need 6 or 7 signings.
We will make signings in January. I'm recording now, but they will not arrive till July. And it will be like, fingers crossed, Alphonso Davies on a free transfer. We will make signings now from outside of our league. Man United never do this. When have you heard Man United sign a player from outside of the Premier League, pre-contract? But the Premier League players do it all the time. It never happens the other way.
No, the only things that we've seen in recent years are just, what's it named? Ten Hag signing players that he's worked with.
But can you understand why?
Well, so they were only tools he was given. Yeah. He didn't have he didn't have a hierarchy above him that was saying, if you're Ruben Amorim in a room with these sporting directors and your technical directors, whatever you want to do, you say, right, this is how I play. And then they're going, right, they're sending that information off to their scouts that are in Germany, that are in Holland, that are in wherever.
Yeah.
They send players and then they narrow it down to 3 or 4 and they go, right, these are 4 players. This one ranges at £10 million that we can get, but he's got to go back in July, come back, blah, blah. Or you've got this one that's 50 million who plays every week and scores this amount of goals. And you've got the price range, like 10, 20, 30, 50, whatever. That gives Ruben Amorim the opportunity to go, right, we'll get him because he's going to be good in the summer, or we'll get him because he's going to score goals now.
Yeah.
But we've got to pay that much. Those are the sort of conversations we're hoping that are going to start happening, if or not already happening. You would like to think that there are already, because there hasn't been, normally when it lead up to a transfer window, there's so many names linked with Manchester United, like every single year.
Well, yeah, there's that German guy linking us with 5 players per day last month. It was ridiculous.
As soon as we got Amorim, we were immediately linked to Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to happen because he's doing absolute wonders out in Sporting. I don't know how he's playing recently, actually, though. But
he's still scoring. But if you think he's a Coventry striker, gone to there, smashing it. Okay, let's take Rasmus and put him there. Rasmus has come from a higher league, Serie A, as a youngster. 16 goals last year from probably 16 bloody passes.
Yeah.
How many does he score in that league? Because I'll tell you what, Gyökeres, he sprints in behind slow defenders. Jesus, Pepe was playing for... He's just retired this year, wasn't he, now? That's it.
Yeah.
And at 42?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's all about the league. That's what I mean. I would love it if we went out and signed a left wing back at Alphonso Davies, a right wing back at, say, Frimpong. We've got Ugarte, put Edison from Atlanta in midfield with him. Mason Mount miraculously gets fit and he can play in the 10 role, but someone very similar like him, high pressing, high energy, probably an Italian. I would like Bastoni from Italy. We can keep going. I would take any goalkeeper.
Do you think Rashford will wait to see what the signings are going to be?
Does he have a choice?
It might be a choice. I'm just throwing it out there. Do you think Ruben will have a conversation with Rashford? This is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say Ruben goes, right, if you want to leave, but wait till the summer, and I will tell you in advance who we're signing and what your role will be. And if
do you want to hear that?
As a player,
would you want to hear who they're signing if they get rid of you?
Well,
because
no, not
sign him if you don't get rid of him.
No, well, this is all hypothetical. So let's just say to Rashford, right, if you want to leave, that's fine. That's your prerogative. Okay. We'll give you permission to leave. But give us an opportunity to, because if Ruben wants him that badly, this might, like I say, this is hypothetical. So Ruben might say, if he wants to leave, fine, whatever. But let's say, right, Rashford, we've signed in these players that are going to play in this role, in this role. Is that going to work with you? Or are you still under the impression that you want this new challenge? Do you think these players that we're signing, this isn't like we're asking you for permission to sign them, we're signing these players, do you want to play alongside them? Are they going to make you better in your position? Or is it a case of, like, there's do you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. What I'm thinking from a coaching point of view, so our under-18s, we play 3-5-2, okay? So very similar jobs-wise for the wing-backs. Where's the only place Rashford can honestly get in? Who's he going to... If every player was fit, who would he dislodge? Would he dislodge Bruno in a 10 spot? Probably not, right? Ahmad, player of the season so far, so...
Easily, yep.
Would you play him up front instead of Højlund? Well, you play him up front instead of Xerxes as a 9, but probably not in front of Højlund. If you want to play, give me the ball, I hold it up, chest it down and play. But if you want to ping it in behind, then he's an option. He needs to know he's an option for plan A or plan B. Because then you go across the midfield, he doesn't like playing on the right because he can't cut in and have a shot.
Yeah.
So that's right wing back gone, left wing back gone. He can't play in the middle. I clearly think he cannot play 10. He doesn't want to get the ball and link up little 1-2s and, feed people in. He wants to get on it. So he's playing for one spot.
Yeah.
So he's got to look at that himself and go, am I the best? 30 goal Rashford, maybe. But 30 goals cutting in from the left and smashing it, bodying people out the way, you shouldn't lose that. That's a choice, not to put your shoulder into someone and things like that now. He had a great season, came in and thought, in my opinion, from seeing players, he went, I'll do the same. But thought it'll be easy. But as Jose said, playing against us, Rashford will cut in on the right.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it. So,
and I think the injury to Shaw as well, obviously that season they had a great link up, him and Shaw.
Massive. Shaw.
And I've had this argument, I think it might have been with Mark or it might have been with Stu, that it shouldn't matter. I think it does to an extent, that you've got a connection with your left back, that where each other are going to be, and that's when that 30 goal season came from. We had that rare occasion we have a full season of Luke Shaw,
and Luke Shaw was superb for England at the same time.
Yeah,
coming out of the Euros, going to the Euros that season, like you say, with 30 goals, that run of making space is all the player needs. You just need a player to think, and they've got to make a choice. And that's what Rashford would go on. But I remember Bournemouth conceding a goal to an ex-player who shouted the code word for leave it. Yeah? So that's what you have. When you're playing with someone week in, week out, you have that little, I don't want to quote Marvel, but Captain America on your left. You already know to play it without looking because you know how fast he is. You know the distance. If that's going to keep changing, it is a nightmare. But he wouldn't have that. Because he can't go out wide. At no point now, unless he plays left wing back, which means left Luke Shaw wouldn't be making those runs, he cannot go out wide. He cannot get that pocket of space to get the ball, face someone up and go at them. And you'll notice a lot of the time when he does, he stops the game. He controls the ball, head down, and someone's made a run and he's not past it. So Rashford has all the talent in the world. But when you lose the love, and that's what it looks like, we don't know him. When you lose the love for football, or you feel the world is against you,
the
dark days are always worse than the ones with the light.
Yeah, I personally believe that I don't want Rashford to go somewhere and do badly. I want him, if he's going to leave, that's fine. I'm not going to hold a grudge. There's been a lot of talk this week that if he goes, there's sort of like this exodus of people not believing in him anymore. If he goes, I want him to succeed, like without a shadow of a doubt. He's obviously fallen out of love with the way things are going at Old Trafford, the way things are going at United, and that's fine.
Yeah,
it's a good deal on both ends. That if we sell him and get, let's say 30, 40 million, fine. It's off the wage bill. It's done. I want him to succeed. I want him to go somewhere, bang goals in, win trophies, come back and play for England, and that will do for me. So I'm not the sort of that fan that's just going to hold a grudge against Rashford.
Yeah, but that's a Man United fan. We want Angel
And an England
Gomez.
fan,
Name of player. Nicky Butt. Nicky Butt went to Newcastle. We've recently found out he could have gone to Real Madrid. Good enough player to literally go anywhere then. And he held on until the latter days of his career and went, I just want to play football now because I'm going to retire soon. And there's many clubs where Jamie Vardy's going to be like that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why is Vardy still there? He could be probably banging in goals for Salford. I can imagine Salford taking him as a striker in that league.
Yeah.
But it's about
one club mentality.
The best. But you've got to want it. We always want goals. We always want the best for Manchester United. But we want the player to want the best. And we expect them to step out and give their best. So someone walks, someone's holding their hands up like Dallo does, I made a mistake. Should be on the floor, smashing the floor like me. Do you know what I mean? Like, what have I done? There's little body languages things, and I think that's what Amarin's going for. I honestly think if he's got to make a decision, the biggest decision is to kick out the biggest names. And as you said, if we need to bring players in, there's only 4 or 5 players we can sell to get a profit. To bring in players. So you can sell Rashford, you can sell Bruno, you can sell Garnacho. Ahmad's probably rising at the moment in value.
And you've also got Sancho as well. Obviously, we'll have to sell him. Chelsea will probably buy him off us.
Well, 25 million. They're going to at the moment, they might win the league, let alone finish above 12th or 13th, whichever.
We'd like to think that maybe there's a clause in that contract to say if he wins the league with Chelsea.
Oh, we get a bigger, we get a bigger amount.
We'll get a bit like an extra £5 million or something.
But yeah, there are players out there that we've let go. Fernandes at Benfica, left back. He'd probably be great in our team right now. So let's just hope Sir Jim has got some financial master plan. Obviously, he's brought money in for a reason, and that can only. So this 117 or something like that? He's just reinvested in. That's going to affect our PSR. So, in a way that.
There's no doubt we've got to sell. There's no doubt we've got to sell to buy.
Yeah, but if we needed to fix that roof, we need to do stuff around the club. Things are getting more expensive. That could only come out of the transfer budget unless he invested more money back in. He's gone up by what, 2%? It's nothing. He's just probably bought one of the independent people's shares. He's not bought Glazer's share.
No, I think what I can imagine he's trying to do is just nip away at it. Nip away at it until the Glazers go, you know what, we're done with it now. If that day ever happens. Right. Quick look ahead to the Wolves game. It's going
Cunha laughing at us already.
Great. Yeah, you saw a tweet earlier on that Cunha's absolutely laughing his head off that they've got to play us next week. Obviously, they've just come off the back of a 3-0 win against Leicester today.
New manager bounce? Well, not even a new manager bounce.
Well, he was in the stands.
Not Martin O'Neill. Gary O'Neill. And for them to pick up, so that's a team with down tools, and we know they can play. We've seen it for the last 3-4 years under him. 3 years, I think it is, he's been there. And I had him earmarked for the England job. So, Wolves. And they've been a bogey side the last 2 seasons for us. Inana punching people in the face and things like that.
Yeah.
We've robbed them multiple times.
I will be very surprised if we... Well, I would imagine we'll get something out of it, but I won't imagine it'll be a comfortable win like we...
It's at home, isn't it?
No, it's away.
So we're probably more likely to get something out of it. Amarin's mentioning something like it is they're scared to step foot on the Old Trafford pitch.
Potentially.
But then is that... I don't want to question fans that go to games. We know probably 50% of season ticket holders at every game. But we know the tickets are going back. Some of them don't know the songs. Some of them it's their first... it's a Christmas present, they've gone. It's not the atmosphere, but when you're not winning, you need the die-hard fans there, not the prawn sandwich brigade. I think we should cover it off like that. And I think they're worried that they're going to get booed off at half-time. My head can't get that. I was like, well, if you're doing your best, and it's clear on the pitch you're doing your best, we ain't booing you. We're singing your names. We're doing everything we physically can to make you better. We will be that 12th man.
Well, that's it. That's all we can ask for. We shall see. Guys, please like and subscribe. There's been a lot of people watching, so we really appreciate that. There'll be another few shows this week. We're going to be debuting a new show as well at some point in replacement to the Future of Football. Well, not a replacement, alongside it. So there'll be more details on that. There will be a talk of the league in the middle of the week, but obviously this is our show just before Christmas. So I hope everyone watching has a wonderful Christmas, and we shall see you on the other side. Thank you very much for watching, Mark, and thank you very much for your time tonight. I know it's been obviously your voice has actually lasted quite well, so we've done pretty well.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to the morning. I can feel it.
No, thank you very much, and everyone watching, thank you very much. Good.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.